This episode of Destructoid is brought to you by Jack Threads. Coming up on Destructoid, Star Wars The Old Republic gets homoerotic, Tara's got the lowdown on the latest Borderlands 2 DLC, and we have some bat clues about the next Arkham game. Get the full story right now on Destructoid.
Welcome to Destructoid. I'm Tara Long.
And I'm Max Scoville.
Happy Tuesday, Max.
Happy Tuesday indeed, Tara.
Oh, but you're quite excited today. I heard there were some Star Wars news.
There are, in fact, some newses about the Star Wars. Star Wars fans got some really big, exciting news today. It's been received with a mix of excitement and skepticism and some outright hatred. They've put a gay planet in Star Wars The Old Republic. If you're unfamiliar, up until now, same-sex romance options haven't been available in the Old Republic, but with the upcoming Rise of the Hutt Cartel expansion pack, that'll change. When players visit the planet Makeb, they will meet some characters who offer flirtatious dialogue, and these are characters of the same sex as their players. This is a temporary solution. Executive producer Jeff Hickman commented, stating, "I realize that we promised same-gender relationships to you guys, and that many of you believe this would be with a companion character. Unfortunately, this will take a lot more work than we realized at the time, and it has been delayed. As we have said in the past, allowing same-gender romance is something we are very supportive of." Of course, this seems like a decision that's almost designed to piss everyone off equally. The inclusion of same-sex romance options exclusive to one planet as part of an expansion is making players pay for a tacked-on feature that was promised initially in the game from the start. And while it feels a tad excessive to accuse BioWare of, digital segregation in the Star Wars galaxy, that's technically what this is. And in any case, it's just kind of a half-assed attempt to meet a demand. On the other hand, as is the case with any gaming news related to gay culture in any way, shape, or form, some people are upset by the fact that sometimes men like other men and ladies like other ladies, and they're really upset that you could do the gay stuff in the Old Republic, and that's...
Yeah, because doing it is gross.
Well, it's really kind of weird to get upset about something like that when you're talking about a game where you can, have sex with blue ladies who have tentacles coming out of their heads. So just prioritize, please, people. If you're going to get upset about something related to Star Wars, they're getting Zack Snyder to direct one. So just...
I love how they're just like, yeah, it's taking a lot longer than we expected. Like, boy, those gay megabytes sure take longer to make than the straight ones. Like, I can't imagine how this was possibly the most optimal solution to solve this problem. But
it's
hey,
there
it is.
It's a whole planet full of gay aliens. Go nuts, kids.
All right, on to less
Star
gay news.
Wars.
I'm sure I don't have to remind any of you, but just in case you forgot, Sir Hammerlock's Big Game Hunt comes out today. This
Big what
is the
hunt?
Third Big Game Hunt, not Big Gay
sorry.
Hunt. That's another DLC. This is the third add-on for Borderlands 2, and I wish I could tell you that it's the best, but I can't because I would be lying. For the record, I do think that a hunting-focused add-on is a fabulous idea, especially if we're being given an entirely new continent to play around in, which we are. But it doesn't feel like the developers really took advantage of everything that was made available to them. For starters, the only new character in this DLC is Professor Nakayama, who's a scientist who is obsessed with the legacy of Handsome Jack and is determined to continue it at whatever cost. He's amusing, in the classic Borderlands self-derogatory kind of way, but his involvement is sparse in the game and it brings very little depth to the overall storyline. As for the continent of Agris, that also suffers from a little bit of a lack of personality, and to a lesser extent, its creatures as well. The most interesting new enemy types are actually the Witch Doctors, who can heal, buff, and level their tribes of savages up, all while dealing insane amounts of elemental damage on their end. The whole DLC has this kind of tribal theme, which is sort of cool. Other than that, the campaign itself is pretty short. It's padded with a lot of level grinding, fetch quests, and pretty boring boss fights. If you can manage to get past those negatives, however, there are some good rewards in store for you. The loot payout is extremely favorable in this DLC, and there are enough challenges and collectibles to keep you busy for several hours after the campaign ends. Overall, I gave the DLC a 3 out of 5, and if you want more details, I implore you to check out my full review, which is up right now over on youtube.com/rev3games. Also, it's worth noting that there is no level cap increase for this DLC. So if you've been holding out for that, then you might be disappointed. And also, you will have to have beaten the main campaign and be at least level 30 to play this, since it does take place after the events of, the ending of the game, which I won't spoil for anybody who still hasn't played it yet. But if you haven't played it yet, you're crazy and you should go right now.
Tear along, everybody.
Yes.
Borderlands fan. So one game that is inevitably going to be a smash hit whenever it actually sees the light of day is Rocksteady's follow-up to Batman Arkham City. Currently, all we really know about it is the little tidbit of information that was dug up by Variety back in July that WB is pushing to involve more Justice League characters in the next game to warm fans up for the 2015 movie, and that the next Arkham installment is probably going to be a prequel, taking a lot of cues from Silver Age Batman comics. Well, a few days ago, Warner Brothers registered a big pile of 14 domain names for website URLs that give some pretty solid hints as to what the next game might be called. The big recurring buzzword seems to be universe, with 5 of the URLs being variations on ArkhamUniverse.com. Rocksteady's particular interpretation of the Batman canon is already called Arkhamverse by a lot of fans, and this supports this series, including more than just Bat characters, kind of branching out into less just a city or an asylum. It's more of a whole universe of DC characters. Also on the list are Arkham URLs with the words Origins, Begins, Legends, and Stories, which all fit the prequel idea. Legends and Stories could imply a past tense, while Origins and Begins are kind of no-brainer prequel names. There's also Arkham Dark Knight and Arkham Rises, so maybe the Begins is just Warner Brothers kind of covering their bases for the sake of SEO or cross-promotion or internet things. I don't know. Arkham Asylum came out in fall of 2009. Arkham City was back in 2011, and it is currently 2013, so I think it's pretty safe to expect a new Arkham announcement at E3 this year, or possibly Comic-Con. Maybe it'll even be a launch title for one of those mysterious new video boxes. While we are talking about mysterious things and things being registered by video game companies, I really need to bring this up. Ubisoft filed a trademark for some sort of video game called Chubby Kings.
Oh, the possibilities.
Chubby Kings. I'm going to repeat that sentence so you get the full effect once again for your brain. Ubisoft filed a trademark for some sort of video game called Chubby Kings. Chubby Kings. This is either going to be the most utterly shameless ripoff of Fat Princess ever, or an entirely new, ridiculous game, and based on the name, it's probably going to be the best game ever.
Yeah, Game of the Year.
Calling it now, Chubby Kings, Game of the Year, whatever year it comes out in. No idea what Chubby Kings is about, but I wanted to report on it.
I'm so curious now. I cannot wait to find out what that's about. So I get the feeling that we're going to be reporting on plenty of new hardware rumors this year since, we're gamers and we like to get excited about stuff. This latest rumor comes courtesy of Baird Equity Research, who allegedly spent CES with a number of companies involved in video game development and distribution, and are now predicting that both Microsoft and Sony's next-gen consoles will be released this year and will cost between $350 and $400. So by comparison, the Xbox 360 launched in 2005. That was a 20 gig version and it cost $400. And the 20 gig PlayStation 3 model came out in 2006 and cost $499. So this is pretty cheap, all things considered. Baird's senior research analyst Colin Sebastian has guessed that the PlayStation 4 system will be launching this October, while the new Xbox will hit stores the following month. He's also made some predictions about the kind of hardware that they're going to be using, suggesting that they'll be run on a PC-based architecture rather than the custom silicon chips that they've been using. He also claims that both consoles will feature hybrid physical and digital distribution models, as well as enhanced voice controls, built-in motion sensors, or in the case of the Xbox, built-in Kinect integration, and broad multimedia capabilities. As for the PC architecture, Sebastian says that not only is that going to make the consoles cheaper to produce, but it's also going to make it easier for developers to build in some kind of online service to their games, for example, free-to-play or subscription-based models. So this is rather interesting. As always, rumors from analyst research places are never really 100% accurate, but if anything, I'm glad to see that people are predicting that the prices will be a little bit lower. It's been so long since new consoles. I always forget how expensive they are when they first come out.
No, I'm really excited that I'm not going to have to get a second job to pay for the next Sony console. That was the thing that they said that people should do, is get a second job to buy a PlayStation 3. Go figure. Anyway, speaking of bringing home the bacon, it is time for us to read a word from our sponsor.
Newsflash, everyone. Shopping for clothes does not need to be expensive or a pain in the ass, and fortunately with JackThreads, it's neither. JackThreads is an online shopping club that takes all of the hassle out of shopping for clothes and puts you in the brands you like for cheaper than you'd expect. They've got all the best street, skate, and surfwear clothes, along with a wide selection of accessories and holiday gifts at up to 80% off every day. Typically, there is a wait list to join, but we like you so much, we will let you in for free. Just head over to jackthreads.com/destruct and you can skip the wait list and get instant access right now. Again, that is jackthreads.com/destruct for all your clothing and holiday shopping needs. All right, so back to the show. Believe it or not, more stuff happened this week than we can actually talk about in this brief, teeny tiny episode. For example, DmC Devil May Cry came out today. Remember that game that people were really upset about when they first saw it? Well, it turns out it's not as terrible as a lot of us might have expected. Jim Sterling put up his review of the game on Destructoid.com yesterday and gave it a whopping 9 out of 10, which is not light for him. He said that while the game is a bit easier than previous installments, it still contains almost all of the core elements of a DmC game. A commitment to ridiculousness, an audacious sense of style, and a combat system that will leave you feeling highly amused. So you can find his full review over on Destructoid.com if you care to read it. And if you want a video one, we've got one too. Adam Sessler put up his review of the game over on our Rev3 Games channel, so be sure to check that out as well. I don't think he liked it quite as much as Jim Sterling did, but two people, two separate opinions.
Different brains in different human being bodies. Go figure.
What else is in store for the people on the Rev3 Games channel?
We had a
this
lovely
week?
little casual Friday in which we discussed the future of THQ's franchises now that all the individual game properties are being kind of auctioned off to the highest bidder, and what studios we would like to see, you know, pick up the pieces and finish the games and such. So go check that out. It's a good one.
And I believe that is all the time we have for today. We will be back here on Friday for our weekly live show. That is at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. YouTube.com/dtoid is the address. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your pets. Don't tell your kids if they're under 13 because we curse a lot.
Yeah, sometimes we talk about adult situations.
And we'll see you back here on Friday. Take it easy.